So it's 2020 out there, and there are a ton of options for health and fitness in North America. From traditional gym memberships to thousands and thousands of YouTube channels to probably millions of apps to Peloton. There's something called the Fitness Mirror I saw last week. And there are premium subscription services everywhere on the internet. And that's what we're here talking about today. If you have a premium subscription service or a pay-for app that you're trying to sell to people and it's not selling, watch this video because I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. If you're thinking about getting into this world, watch this video because I'm going to tell you what you can do wrong. If you don't, watch this video, check yourself, and do these audits. And it starts right now. So as I stated before, I'm guessing you're here today watching this video because you either have an app, some sort of membership platform on the internet, and it's not selling. You're not getting the members you wanted, it's not working. Or the flip side is, perhaps you're thinking on starting one of these. With COVID-19 going on right now, people are looking for security because the physical gyms are having some troubles, which we all know. Well, you're not alone. A recent survey by the Personal Trainer Development Center showed that the average salary of a personal trainer in the US is about $46,000 a year. And when COVID-19 struck, 58% of those surveyed either lost all of their income or a large portion of their income, with 23% being laid off or furloughed altogether. The fact is, even to begin with before COVID-19, $46,000 is not a lot of money if you have a family, a mortgage, car payments, bills, children, things like that. So I can't imagine how hard a lot of personal trainers were hit when this pandemic started, and to have that amount of income cut in half or completely removed from their lives. But with every cloud, there's a silver lining, and a lot of trainers use 2020 to reinvent themselves, so to speak, and to find different ways to reach new audiences to ensure that they have security moving forward in their careers. And in the same survey by the Personal Trainer Development Center, it stated that out of everyone that basically they spoke with, only 14% intend to go back to what they were doing before in terms of full-time at the gym, training people in person. Everyone else on the survey, they're either doing some things digitally or they're completely going digitally moving forward, which is very exciting. And while I do admire the amount of people that are starting to discover the digital space and see all the opportunities they have to make money there, the fact of the matter is many of these paid platforms are falling flat. That's just a reality because there is such an oversaturation in the industry online. If this is how you're feeling, then I definitely suggest you stick around and watch this video because I'm going to give you a list of 4 audits that you can basically take that will help you figure out why your digital premium paid subscription platform or app is failing to produce an income. And to the contrary, if you're thinking on getting into this area and building a paid tier to something you're already doing or something you're just getting into from scratch, watch this video because there are some big mistakes that people are making and it's causing them not to make a dime off this, and it's costing them a lot of money to set up. So watch this. Hopefully there'll be some tips in here and it'll help you get started. First thing you need to audit with your channel is the price point. And before I get started, kind of as I had touched on before, what we're talking about today, now on this channel we talk a lot about YouTube channels in particular. We're talking more about premium platforms today, which are membership websites, subscription-based sites. Some people use Patreon, some people use OnlyFans. There's a lot of different avenues. There's paid apps, a lot of stuff like that. But if you do have a YouTube channel, again, I do suggest that you keep watching this because what we do talk about with our YouTube channels is how you can make money with your YouTube channel. And this is one way to do it. You can set up a freemium model and a premium model, which we're going to talk about at length very shortly. So stick around and watch this because I do think this can help you guys as well. So when it comes to pricing your app or your subscription-based premium service, there's a lot of factors to take into consideration, and unfortunately, a lot of these factors are not taken into consideration. Typically, when I see, for example, a new app pop up, I see basically 2 different ways that it's done. Usually, there's some sort of free subscription with a lot of in-app purchases, which, by the way, consumers despise. Mark that down. And the other method that I'll see are really overpriced apps that are based on very little logic other than, well, that's what my competitor's charging, or that's what my friend's charging, or that's what somebody I know is charging who I want to be like. And that's not a way to do this. When setting your price for an app or a premium platform, you need to remember that you are not the only game in town. This is not traditional personal training, one-on-one, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100 an hour. You're dealing with a much broader audience, and you're going to have to charge less. In the online space, the average consumer doesn't deal with one single platform. It's very seldom because they have access to the entire world. What you'll see quite often with digital consumers and people that do the working out online is they tend to follow anywhere from, it could be 4 or 5 to as many as 10 or 15 different free platforms, typically YouTube channels, and then they will invest their money in one subscription-based platform, which could be an app that they use when they're training or for their training, or it could be a membership website. Very seldom do they invest in more than one. So if your app consists of like a dozen workouts and a nutrition plan and some kind of a daily vlog you do on your phone, guess what? So does every other generic app on the planet. So before you do anything else, please make sure that your app or your subscription service has something proprietary to it other than just yourself. So often I see trainers who go into this feeling that they are the selling point. You're not the selling point. Maybe to your mom, maybe to your bestie, you're the selling point, but to the entire planet, you're not, unless you're a really big name person, in which case I doubt you're watching this video right now. Nobody gives a crap that it's you. Typically what the consumer is looking for is the best possible results for the lowest one-time investment. And please don't forget that there's a pandemic going on out there right now, so a lot of these people are on very tight budgets, so they're not going to spend a fortune. Number 2 on our list of audits is right product, wrong audience. And this is something that I've touched on quite a bit in the archives on the channel. So if you want to learn more about this, check out some of the other videos on the channel. Bless their hearts, I think personal trainers, sometimes we try and reinvent the wheel a little bit too much, trying to come up with, the most intense workouts and the hardest workouts, and maybe sometimes we go too proprietary with our workouts in hopes of gaining relevance in the industry. But the fact of the matter is your relevance in this industry is not going to be judged by your peers. It's not going to be judged by ISSA or CanFit Pro or anything like that. Your relevance in this industry is going to be judged by the consumer. And they're also the ones that are actually going to pay for your products and services. So this is something you need to be very careful of. Are you actually creating a platform for the proper audience, or are you creating a platform that's kind of for yourself or for a brand that you want to do to impress your peers? I know nobody's going to admit to this, but I do know it also happens. What I'm getting at is you really need to do your research online. Who's using apps and who's using these paid subscription services right now? Is it men? Is it women? Do they live in, does the majority of them live in condos in big cities, or do they live in the suburbs with nice big backyards? How much is their household incomes? What are they willing to pay for subscription services like this? These are not things that you have to guess at. The data is out there. You can go on to YouTube and do keyword searches to find out what people are looking for. You can use Google Trends to find out what people are looking for. You can take a lot of this and it will help you basically mold what you're going to launch. What you basically want to be looking for is the broadest audience that you can find that is looking for a branch of the industry that perhaps is not as oversaturated and has not been tapped into as much, because that is where the most money is for you, because you're going to have the broadest audience who's looking for that and the least amount of competition. You don't want to create a CrossFit workout app for women in their 80s that they can do in their backyard when the data tells you that it's 35-year-old men who live in micro condos in New York City who are looking for apps that they can use in their living room. Sounds a little bit silly, but these are mistakes that can be made if you don't get the data and find out exactly who and what is looking for what you have to offer. Third, and probably the most important thing in this audit, is what I like to call a lack of sales structure in your brand. This is something I see a ton of trainers, it's a mistake that they make. Typically when a trainer really invests in creating a premium platform, they usually put a little bit of money behind it. They'll hire a videographer, they'll go to a studio, they'll produce a lot of workouts, and they'll start doing some really polished vlogs. Maybe it's recipes, tutorials, all kinds of content for their platform or their app or whatever it is they're doing. They put that on the app. They set everything up, it's all looking pristine, and then what do? Probably one of the biggest mistakes I see with new fitness launches is what I refer to as the ass-backwards method of selling, which is trying to sell your premium content without giving away anything of substance for free. So people wind up going on to their different various social media platforms, and they essentially solicit people to go and buy whatever the product or services is that they're selling without giving anything away. And this just doesn't work. The fact of the matter is, you are worth nothing to these people until you've proven to be worth anything. And as the saying goes, show the world you're a rock star and stop telling them you're a rock star. And this is why I'm a big believer in the freemium model for any premium membership site. And let me clarify that by saying, I don't mean putting together 1 or 2 free workouts and then holding back all of the good stuff. So many people launch these monetized brands by giving away shit and then expecting people to buy into the good stuff, when the fact of the matter is, what you need to be doing is giving away the good stuff and then selling them shit. And I know that sounds crazy, and please, before you say anything, I'm not saying that your premium content should be poorly produced or poor content. But here's where it gets interesting. The mindset behind this analogy is that your best content is going to put the most eyes on your brand. So don't hide that content. This is somewhat of a reverse model for what most people do, but particularly for fitness apps, YouTube Premium, Patreon accounts, things like that. You need to play the odds. Get as many eyeballs on your brand in order to see the best return on investment. And this is basically how it works. The more eyes on your brand should mean more overall sales of your premium content. More sales in totality is going to allow you to make the pricing of your premium content more affordable. So seriously, give away what you think is your premium content that you've been hiding on this platform of yours. Because here's the kicker. The premium content does not need to be premium by design. If someone becomes a fan of your free content and from there they've decided that they want to invest in your premium content, it's no longer about the content itself. They're not buying into the content at this point. They're actually buying into you. They're looking for a personal one-on-one relationship with you that can bring them to the next level. They've still got that free premium content. Now they're working with you more exclusively, and they're looking for that emotional relationship. So it could be live Zoom workouts. It could be weekly check-ins. It could be, things that you're doing with a GoPro. Just a lot of exclusive, behind-the-scenes, more personable content. That's what you're delivering to them. You're working with them now on a one-on-one basis, like any personal trainer would. That's the buy-in, and that's where so many personal trainers derail when it comes to selling these premium platforms. They feel they have to hold on to the premium content that they paid for, and then they have nothing left to sell the person on your brand altogether. So everything just stays hidden. You don't see the traffic that you need to make sales. So basically, to summarize, if I can make this a little more simple for you, because I know it's a lot to digest. Freemium model is high quality, less personal content. Your premium paid content, like an app or a paid subscription service, is a more personal, direct relationship with the consumer. It's ongoing, always evolving, with emotional connection. So that's basically it, guys. That is a very important one. Really speaks to people, I think, that are just starting out, because you've got the ability to design right now what you're going to present to people. For those of you that already have subscription services, possibly look at this. Look at having a freemium model that is really a lot to give people, that gets a lot of eyes on you, and then use that audience to convert to the premium subscription service. Number 4 in our audit is right product, wrong platform. Now, before I get started with this, I would never want to discourage anybody from looking into all these digital opportunities that are out there to give you more security and make you more money for your personal brand. But the fact of the matter is, oftentimes personal trainers, maybe they make decisions with their heart more than their head, and they follow trends as opposed to following data. The bottom line is that you want to make as much money as possible on this, and you want to get a return on your investment, because none of this is free. It's going to take some of your money, a lot of your time, and we want to make sure this works. If your app's not selling, for example, there's a very good chance that it could be any one of the things that we've discussed here today. But there's an equally good chance that you may have a great offering that you've just presented on the wrong platform. This is where you would go back and basically check the data and really look to see if the audience that you were targeting, if they're even using apps, if they have an interest in apps over the many other digital platforms that are available, that perhaps they would have more interest in engaging on. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of apps, and I know as a fitness marketer that I'm not alone in that opinion. They're very buggy, They're hard to navigate at times. They're very impersonal, and quite honestly, fitness is an emotional connection when it comes to personal training. And most importantly, there is some really, really stiff competition when it comes to app, which makes it very difficult for your app to get discovered by a broader audience. So regardless of where you're currently situated, you really have to ask yourself, is this the right platform for what I'm offering? You know, when it comes going back to apps again, it's great to say I have an app. It's very trendy to say that, but this channel is about making money. We want you to make the most money possible. So you have to ask yourself the tough questions, and you have to make those decisions, particularly if you have an interest in what we discussed before with the freemium premium model. One thing that you have to very much keep in mind is that your freemium model, which a lot of people use YouTube to this, it has to synergize nicely with your premium model. They have to work well together. They have to be in sync. So if your freemium model was YouTube and then your premium model was an app, that may not work as well together because the YouTube audience is a ready-made audience for you. So obviously they're looking for, you know, the horizontal picture. Perhaps they're using smart TVs and things like that. So you want to keep them in that sort of a structure so you don't lose them because of the platform itself. The bottom line is you want to give the consumer the absolute best user experience possible. So that's it for this week, guys. That's 4 different things that you can basically look into either before you start a premium service or take your current premium service and give it an audit and figure out where you might be going wrong if you're not getting the sales volume that you were looking for. If it's your first time on this channel and you're interested in this kind of content, this is all we do. We talk personal training, fitness, in the digital platforms that we can use to build and make money. To give you some background on me, this is not my main channel. My main channel is called Trainer Hub. You can find it on YouTube, and I'm currently making $6,000 to $7,000 every single month off that channel just as a free platform. And we're currently starting to look into different ways to monetize premium content as well. So I'm in this with you guys. If you have questions, comment below. Like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, if you have an issue with it, comment below. I will talk to you. I'd love to hear your different opinions on it and hear what everybody's doing. Take care, guys. Have a great week. I will talk to you soon.